May 14th, 2025. I hope with the last statement, when people actually think about what I've said and how illegal this is, where I went and talked to the Portage County Sheriff's about them breaking into my home, supposed to set up button cameras, a shower scene, I'm washing myself in another room. They're like, that's illegal. And then where I had bruises, throwing up, or took a drink out of a drink, the room went to Zane Black or Whoop Up with injection marks, bruises, throwing up, and in fact I had to be seen by the doctor, never seen her talk to anybody. They're lying, they have sodium pentothal reports, and they're bragging in front of people in stores. They drugged me and told me to say weirdo stuff. They're like, that's illegal. Everything these people said they did is illegal. Okay? No, and they said they didn't know about it. Where you got your little bunny permission. Okay. That's where I want you to think about this. These people, like that idiot in my old apartment, says he has my medical records. Where would he get them? Where would he get them? You know, I had an ultrasound on my heart, okay, in the fall. I went to pick up a copy of it. I had to show ID. Sign what I wanted it for, and I had to wait. Some guy came down, wanted to get his wife's medical records. They looked at him and said, do you have a signed medical power of attorney that's notarized to pick it up? He's like, no. He said, we can't give you nothing. So who in either Altman Hospital, Mercy Medical, or wherever you stole it from, who inside the hospital is stealing medical records? Because they had to scan my ID in. For when they printed it off, it was scanned with my ID. Who inside Altman Hospital, or whatever hospital you got it from, is stealing medical records from the hospital? Do you know when you go into a doctor's office, what do? You fill out paperwork. You sign for consent for them to see you. They can't see you, they can't treat you until you sign that release. Do you know they cannot get your medical records from anywhere else without your signed consent because they can't be moved? And a lot of times the other place makes you go over and sign a paper for them, or sends over a paper for you to sign back, and they fax it over, and you have to sign several releases. So we're some guy named Will up there, Billy from the Freemasons. You and your doctor friend, that's not mine, think you can go in hospitals and steal documents from hospitals? Those are federal crimes. So what other patients' records did you steal? Because hospital records, doctor's records, what's on there? Your name, your address, your birthday, your social. How many other patients' information did you sell to the cartel? Who in the hospital is selling and stealing patients' information and giving it to the drug cartel? We're talking federal crimes here. The state will have that person arrested. The state will have that hospital under review and fined for one of their employees stealing information. You don't realize the hellfire you've played with. Where my friend Walter said, it's a big fraud scheme. Drug confessions where you had all the signs of being drug, beat, and raped. Somebody was hurting you. They probably did drug you up until you say something stupid. You had all the signs of being drugged, being raped, and somebody was harming you. And where they laugh in your face in front of people in stores, they photoshopped a shower scene of washing yourself to make you look weird. They probably did. It's clicking and pasting. It's a fraud scheme. They did the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. It's a right to privacy. Well, it's also the right to privacy. Medical records cannot be looked at, pulled, without consent. And only by your doctor or yourself. That is one of your doctors. It's not a technicality. It's a federal crime. So who else in those hospitals did you steal their information for the cartel to either form new IDs or to run a scam on them, trying to extort money? You're playing with hellfire. These are federal crimes. HIPAA and Privacy Acts. No one can have your medical records. No doctor can discuss what they've seen you for, what they treated you for. No hospital can. Without signed releases. No doctor can walk into another hospital and say, I want this person's medical records. They have no right to look at them. They can't talk to your doctor either without a signed consent. Those are federal crimes. HIPAA and Privacy Act. You have opened a can of worms that you will land up in federal prison the rest of your life. Let alone having your dirty doctor friend go lie to a federal agent with a drug-altered confession, and you're harming somebody running a drug scam on them. And that person don't even know who it is. Could you imagine my face if there was ever... think about the scenario, what they're doing. They thought the police were country bumpkins, and so were the FBI. They could have one of their dirty doctor friends drug somebody up. The FBI said it sounded mechanical, like a voice alternator kind of thing. And it was changed by them, and it was them and not me. Where the cops said they always knew they drugged you and told you to say it before. I never talked to anybody. To me, y'all look like a bunch of Looney Tunes. Could you imagine my face of who is that person? I've never seen them before in my life, and what are they talking about? Imagine running a drug scam on somebody like that. Like Michelle said, that she confessed to an agent. Huh? That doctor was never one of mine. He works for them, and they had lied. So you're not smart enough to say, we only lied that we got her medical records. We're just mean to her for date. No, you're like the idiot in my old apartment who wants to say they have my medical records. So you're part of a group stealing from hospitals people's medical records? See, you don't realize what you're saying because you're so dumb. Where the FBI said these people that did this to her are so dumb you would not believe how dumb they are. She calls the hotline. They immediately walk into an FBI office, confess they're illegally monitoring her on their own. And trust me, nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam of taping you unaware before, confessing your crimes and sat on it, telling you Dave wanted a divorce. And it sounded mechanical. We knew it was them and not you. You never talked to anybody. Like Michelle said, it's not my doctor, they lied. He works for them. And nobody filed for the tape of Weird With Yourself. We knew it was a Photoshop of washing yourself in the shower. And they had Photoshopped that. So, and they Photoshopped everything. But if they were going to be that dumb, to try this with us, we told Agent John to go tell on her on that, to that church before he talked to her. We're calling the hotline. And act as dumb as these people. You're saying People are helping people steal records from hospitals, documents from hospitals. That's a federal crime. I know they're not bright people, but start thinking about what they did. I was talking to one of the neighbors that's not in this apartment building. They said a little bit of common sense, they can't do any of this. I said people don't have common sense. See, people, they prey on people that are stupid. And they could say this and then trick them into signing everything that they had over to them. I'm not that stupid. What you did is a major federal crime. And the person that got them for you is going to go to federal prison. And the cops and the feds are going to want to know who else you stole their documents from the hospital. You realize the hospital is going to get fined from the state for their employees stealing and selling people's information and giving it to the cartel. You don't realize the hell of what you've opened. The can of worms that is going to explode in your face. You might as well have said that you walked into a bank and it paid off a teller to print off people's bank accounts. Half my medical records are Dave's girlfriend. The FBI already showed up and said that. They already found out that it was Dave's girlfriend from before me and him, or our marriage. My whole marriage was a scam, they found out. Him and his girlfriend from before me, she had to marry me so I could get a job at my dad's factory. And so she could have free insurance, because back then you didn't show ID. Oh, you show it now. And she could have free insurance. And he could give her extra money. Because back then you didn't show ID. They took you at your word who you were. That's how people used to do identity fraud and insurance fraud. And they got away with it for 15 years. Yeah. Ran up all kinds of copays for us to pay. Over 15 years, probably $50,000 to $100,000. Half my medical records are hers. Now, yeah, you want to say who in the hospital is stealing records, selling them to the cartel? Choose your words carefully. You haven't realized what you've done.